Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Prospect City Hall. I'm Doug Barnsley. I'm the mayor of Prospect. I'll call to order this special meeting of our city council. Today is Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. The meeting was called for 5 o'clock p.m. It's about 5:05 p.m. as we start this meeting. The first item on the agenda is comments from citizens. And I know there's some folks here, or at least one gentleman here who's concerned about crime, which we're all concerned about. So what I've said to him is he'll have 3 minutes to speak today, but if we want to have a further meeting, we'll set that up with the chief and assistant chief and me. So I'm not calling on you yet. Give me just a minute. Yeah. Actually, the next item on the agenda is comments from citizens. So yes. If you'll come over to the lectern and state your name and address. I got it.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Duke. I'm a 8-year resident of this nice Prospect town. I spent over 35 years in Louisville in the Highlands. It was a nice place to live until I retired from teaching, and I thought, oh, I'm coming to Prospect and get some, nice place to retire. And that was true until May of this year. Our dog was kind of crazy one morning at 5:30 in the morning, and my wife went to investigate. Now I'm asleep, my son's asleep, we're all asleep, and I hear her yell out screaming, "Mark, go get your gun." And that wakes you up. So I'll run out there, and there's Prospect police are already there. I was very happy that they came very fast. And basically, there was 5 people that came to my house at 5:30, uninvited. 3 of them were in my garage. My garage door was open. 2 of them were in my truck. And I don't live like next to the road, so you have to drive. She said that she spotted them. It was a white vehicle. All the doors were open when she came to the door. She didn't know who it was. We were alerted by the dog. They were pointing outward. We have a long driveway. So these people had a plan when they first got there. All the doors were open. All 5 people were dressed in black, she said. So they had black tops, black sweats, and COVID mask on. I call them those blue masks. And more than likely, it was a stolen car. That's what the police said it was. And sure enough, they said it was a stolen car, and these people do license plate numbers. They will have forged license plates, or they'll steal someone else's license plate. There's all kinds of ways to do that. And they had, so I guess what I'm going to do, and I might even be in the wrong place because I thought today was talk about your crime day, but maybe it wasn't. But they came in, the police came, and basically I'm trying to get some kind of a closure, because I feel in the way I was a victim, because what I've done since then, we are not feel as safe as we used to. You know what I mean? Been here 8 years. No one ever came to our house. No one came in. I hear there was another man across the way over here. He even shot at one of them. It's someone who came in and invaded his house. So it's kind of unnerving that one day you feel safe, the next day you don't feel safe. So now I have to take steps. I have to get a firearm. My wife and I are going to get firearm training. We've got to buy a firearm. But thank God we got our dog. We have already got new cameras. We put up these camera notices that on our property. We didn't have those before. So it's just kind of unnerving, and I would just like to see, sure. Okay. Well, just to wrap it up, I would just like to see something happen, some kind of resolution to this. I see it happening more and more. Like I said, the gentleman across the street, I don't know what we're going to do, but I would like to see something happen. Thank you.
Earlier, get in touch with me with vacation. We'll set up.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay. Certainly. Go.
Cameron.
Step up, get your name and your address.
I'm Caroline Cameron. I live on Charlock, 12024 Charlock. And just want to comment because I also am concerned about the crime, and I know many people are. And many citizens are buying guns and buying ammunition. And my question is, I could have a misunderstanding, but when I was at the city council meeting in June, after everybody left about the safety portion and Mr. Holmes brought up maybe hiring an additional police position for around 40 grand part-time. And there was some discussion with the chief of police at that time about what he needed, whether it was a part-time or a full-time. And to my understanding, he said he could use both. And then I think a majority voted it down. And I was just wondering, to the residents and many people I've talked to, it seems like we do need more police. People are very concerned about safety here. And I was wondering if there's something that I don't know, why a majority would vote that we don't need them.
This isn't going to become a town meeting, so I will say there was as I recall, there was a motion to amend the budget to fund a further position. There is funded currently a part-time position that has not been filled. So that position is funded, it is available. The police are always on the lookout for good officers. We had 2 vacancies of full-time officers a couple of years ago. We increased salaries so that we can attract good officers, and we filled those. But I won't speak for the police, but I think we're fully staffed in the police department. We have funded a further position that has not yet been filled.
Okay, so right now we have funding for 1 additional police officer.
So,
Yeah, I'm going to cut it off. If you and Mr. Duke, we'll set up a time that you can come in and talk with us. We'll have a time when we can all talk through all these issues.
Sure, I didn't know the appropriate.
No, this is the appropriate time. You've done exactly the right thing, both of you have. But to have a town meeting, we're just not going to do that today. We'll have an opportunity to meet with you all, as many people as want to come in, and we'll go through this in great detail.
Okay.
Mayor, could I make just one comment to what
Sure.
you said? You need to know that at the last council meeting, I specifically asked the chief of police what he was doing with the part-time position. He said he's actively trying to hire somebody for that position.
Okay.
So that position,
One more, and that vote was for additional positions on top of that.
Mhm.
So he mentioned that you could use both. Was it 2 additional positions on top of that?
Okay, we're going
yeah,
to,
now you're getting into
we're going to
the.
cut it off right here. Not that it's not important. It's the most important item we were speaking about. Yeah, it's the most important item to me of any item that we do in the city of Prospect, and that's our public safety. But this, we're going to stick to the agenda. We've had citizen comments, we appreciate them, but if we're going to talk about it further, we'll do that another time. So just
Okay, so just reminding when the appropriate venue to do that.
call here and ask to meet with me and the chief, the assistant chief, we'll set that up. And same with Mr. Booth. If anybody, anytime, we'll meet with you. Okay, we've got additional people signed up to speak. The major topic on the agenda for this special meeting is a proposed public-private partnership and the development of the head property, which is the vacant land just west of the firehouse. So there, 3 people have signed up to speak on that topic. And I'm going to first ask Robert Jacob, who's the chair of the Architectural Review Committee, to speak.
When we formed the Architectural Review Committee, was about a year ago, we were presented with a package probably 6 inches thick of different studies that had been done in the past, some dating back almost 20 years, as far as connectivity, roads, different improvements, and some visions for the city. Some of those were implemented, most of those were not, but none of the plans really encompassed anything except mostly connectivity and I think roads. We are now at a crossroads in the city, and there's going to be some very major changes as far as development with Highway 42, with some of the properties. And we have the last, including the Prospect Point. So we really have this one opportunity in order to change the fate of this city over probably the next 20 to 40 years. We're landlocked. We can do a lot because we have to deal with what we've got. And so the committee has visited Carmel, Indiana, which has just done a stellar job of community redevelopment, and under the guidance of Mayor Jim Brainerd, who gave us a presentation today. And the committee visited Carmel approximately 2 months ago, I believe. And we saw some of the remarkable things that was done. So it's come to our attention that the city would like to appropriate funds in order to develop and hire somebody to do the strategic plannings and the development of what the city could do. And as I understand it, I don't know if my figure is right, but it's approaching around $500,000 that you would like to go ahead and set aside to set out some contracts. So after the presentation, the committee wholeheartedly supports, we had a motion and a resolution was passed to support the funding of this strategic plan and the development from Prospect. So we had no dissents, and I think that this is a great opportunity that we're going to have in order to really change the face of the city and give us the look and preservation of our property values that we're looking for.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate that. And then Herb Schulhofer.
Herb Schulhofer, let's see, number 2 Alnham Hill Court, right here in Prospect is my home. I am on the Architectural Design Committee. Also happened to spend about 50+ years being an architect in this community. So, and Bob mentioned lots of proposals and plans and ideas. I've been fortunate to be a volunteer and be involved in a bunch of those. So have a pretty good knowledge of potential. But really, these were, sort of ideas we had without any kind of power. So, and really, what I'm seeing the council is going to vote on is it's a master plan. And a master plan, it deals with consideration of today and the future. And we know Prospect would change a lot. We know a lot of housing is being built Paramount. There's a lot of open land. We know there's a big barricade, all the intersection up there where VA is. And I got a feeling that, we are a destination for groceries, nail salons and different things, hardware. But I think we could very much be a destination for a lot more things. And what I think is important that the city has a lot of say-so. So planning is important, but having some major involvement in the planning and the conceptualization of this plan, and then some control is a way I think this city will be a much better city in the future. So I'm in hopes that council does authorize this kind of payment for good professional planning and all the other aspects to make sure a master plan is effective. So thank you.
Thank you. And then Sarah Hines.
I'm Sarah Hines. I live off of Deep Creek. I actually have lived in Prospect since 1978, which some probably knew, some didn't. So I grew up here. So I've watched it expand from, Neffs, and once, anything past Hunting Creek wasn't even there. So I've watched it kind of evolve. I'm also part of the Architectural Review Committee. And as you know, I was a former, city commissioner as well. I'm a 100% advocate of allocating funds for this master strategic plan. I think it needs to be intentional on what we're going to do in the future. I think it needs to be well thought through, and I think it needs to take into account really future-proofing the city. We all kind of ran on the premise of police and safety, our parks, of course, were extremely important, but sense of community and walkability was also part of that, that strategy for us. And I think that this is foundationally the best start that we can do for the city of Prospect to leave our legacy and our footprint for many, many years to come. And it needs to be an intentional thought pertaining to design, just much like Carmel was. And so when I saw the presentation and saw the level of detail that was taken into consideration on every single piece of it, you need somebody to help Sherpa. And I think you need a master strategic plan. So I'm a huge advocate of allocating $500,000 for this to make sure that we do it well and we do it right. So thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. So the next item on the agenda is the mayor's report. I really don't have any prepared remarks this evening. I will say a lot of us feel like Prospect is pretty good. We're concerned about crime. We're all concerned about that. But we picked this place to live because it's the kind of place we want it to be. And I think sometimes we want to hold on to what we've got, but change is coming. And that land that's west of the firehouse will be developed. That's going to happen. So the idea of we're just going to keep everything like it is, that is not going to happen. So we've got an opportunity to guide the future development of Prospect. That land in particular, but there are other opportunities for us to explore and for the city to be more actively involved in developing good new walkable areas. So with that said, I'll turn to new business. There are two items of new business. One is a resolution to appropriate funds, and that's listed first, but I think we really probably need to first consider the ordinance amending the budget from which the funds would come. So the next item on the agenda as amended is first reading of ordinance 655, series 2025, an ordinance amending the budget for the general fund, municipal road aid, and capital project fund of the city of Prospect for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025, and ending June 30, 2026. Is there a motion to give that ordinance a first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Holmes made the motion. Mr. Clark seconded. Is there discussion?
Mayor, I'd like to speak on the topic, if I may. And I want to talk about both of the agenda items, not just one they combine. I strongly support both of these items on the agenda tonight. I think they have we have a lot to gain from having these go forward, the master development and the public-private partnership, at least with the 42 property. And actually, we have a lot to lose if we don't go through with it. And that's the thing I think people need to focus on. It's, as to the master development plan, it's always wise to plan for the future, just like Dr. spoke and Sarah spoke about. It's also wise to seek help from people who have been successful in this kind of planning. And actually, not only have done planning, but have done the execution of planning. It's a two-part deal. You can do planning, but you got to execute before you end up having a project. And having people help us do this who've been successful in similar projects makes all the sense in the world. If we jointly join forces with the developer on the Highway 42 property and incorporate or annex it into the city limits, we will gain additional tax revenue that we currently would not otherwise have done. We don't incorporate, we're not going to get the tax revenue from that piece of property. If we annex the property, we will be able to create a TIF district, which will allow us to do TIF finance to generate more funds to greatly improve the possible development. It's complicated, and it takes expert people to help us do this. And it takes expert people who have actually implemented this to do this. But it's all possible. The law is available there for us to do this. if we are able to take the annexation steps and work with the developer in a public-private partnership, the city will be able to influence the scope of the project and development in ways that we could not have otherwise. And in fact, if we don't do this, possibility of it being able to influence the development is greatly limited, as we well know from what's happened to us at the gas station, the Kroger gas station out there. It's out of the city limits. There's very limited things that we can do. To do this correctly, we do need experts, and they are not going to be inexpensive. We're going to need to spend money. But the potential reward for the whole city of us doing that is great. As to the cost of doing this, the council knows that we are in charge of the budget. And if at any time we feel like funds are not being used wisely, we can take action to make sure that that no longer happens, or it happens in a better way. Lastly, I think this is an opportunity to create a vision and a path for Prospect's next 50 years. And I think it's simply too great of an opportunity for us to pass on. And I hope the council will agree and move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Any other discussion?
Just a question. I certainly, I agree with everything that's being proposed, and I'm not an accountant. But when I look at the proposed ordinance, the capital project fund is being shown as a revenue. And yet we're talking about expending the money. And we're not talking about where this money is coming from. And my understanding is it's coming from reserves. Is that not
No,
accurate?
it's not accurate. We don't have, we reserved $1.2 million for the shortfall in the state pension fund. Everything else we got is accumulated surplus.
Okay,
So
so,
we're not allocating anything. This would come from.
Accumulated surplus.
Accumulated surplus.
okay, in a way, it doesn't say that because it's under revenues. You know what I'm saying?
And that's because we don't have our accumulated surplus in our budget. So it comes in, if we draw it from accumulated surplus, that's how it get there.
Okay, thank you.
Further discussion? Okay, then are we ready to vote on the ordinance? This is first reading of the ordinance. Be considered again at the next regular meeting. So I'll start, we call the roll. Mrs. Leonard,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Holmes. Yes. Mr. Mayor Evans,
Yes.
Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Dr. Sturman.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Next, we need to read that. David, would you read the ordinance?
Ordinance 655, Series 2025. An ordinance amending the budget for the general fund, municipal road aid and capital project fund for the city of Prospect for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is it's Resolution 6, Series 2025. And that's the resolution to appropriate funds from the Capital Projects Fund for the purpose of researching and potentially entering into a public-private partnership for the creation of a master development plan for the city. That resolution has been distributed, and it outlines the way we would walk through the process of executing the public-private partnership. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Mr. Holmes, is there a second?
I'll second again.
Mr. Clark, okay. Motion is second. Is there discussion? Any discussion?
I'll just say, I think it's a great idea to have a vision and a strategic plan instead of just like haphazard buildings come up and go and, and there's no plan. And actually, when we were knocking on doors, I think a lot of people in the city of Prospect really would appreciate a vision like that and having like more restaurants and like a river walk or something on the creek or whatever. So there's a lot of potential here. I think it's an exciting project to be a part of. Yeah.
Is there further discussion?
Actually, just some semantics. First of all, I have to say the layout of these are getting better all the time. They're much easier to read than they used to. and I appreciate that. But when I look at some of it, I think that, and I've talked to Don Gibson because sometimes it helps to talk to somebody else. I don't think in number 3, we're necessarily directing the city staff. I think what we're directing is the mayor, and the mayor's in charge of the city staff. And then the other thing I wondered is, instead of periodic updates, you've been very good at giving us monthly updates. And I wonder if we could just substitute a word there and for monthly instead of periodic.
Okay. Do you have a motion?
I think that's a decent motion, make a motion.
Yeah, actually, I think Mr. Gibson is going to make a motion for an amendment.
So made.
Okay.
Okay, help me, what's the?
All right, instead of direction to city staff, it'd be direction to administration, and then we just remove and city administrator, because we're directing you to do it. And then in number 4, all we're doing is substituting the word monthly for periodic.
Okay. Right. Is there, so the motion was made, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, the motion is made and seconded for discussion. Okay, I think I'll ask for maybe a voice vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's carried unanimously. Is there further discussion on the resolution as amended? Not, we'll proceed to a vote. Dr. Furman,
Yes.
Mr. Gibson,
Yes.
Mayor Evans,
Yes.
Holmes, yes. Clark,
Yes.
Mrs. Leonard.
Yes.
Okay, that's approved by a vote of 6-0. So that is amended and approved. And I need to read. No, I don't think so. No. Do we need to?
It's a
I'll
resolution.
read it. A resolution to appropriate funds from the capital projects fund for the purpose of researching, potentially entering into public-private partnerships for the creation of master development plans for the city. Okay, that's the last item on the agenda. Is there any other business to come before the council? Special meeting. Okay, all right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.
everyone.
Comments area, that was excellent.
Oh,